Hey, hey, hey. All right. So happy Wednesday. We got a pretty cool day today. We're going to be looking at some more subdivide potential deals. I'm excited about looking for more of these because we have a couple that we're kind of working right now. And we're looking to get more and more of these deals under contract. So I got John on with me today. I'm happy because the election's finally over, which means the market can basically go back to normal. Doesn't matter who won, really, literally does not matter. But now the market's allowed to go back to normal. So it's freaking awesome. So I'm excited to get back into everything. And I'm excited to start seeing more of my deals move again because I'm sure everybody's feeling a slowdown right now. It's totally normal. I've been through, what is this, my 6th election cycle in real estate. And this literally happens every single time. So I'm not worried about it. It's all perfectly normal stuff. So anyways, today we are going to hop in. Let me just send this now. So we're gonna hop in. I'm gonna bring John in, and then we're gonna look at a few more deals together. We have a couple deals we want to look at. We're gonna see if they are a deal or not, and then we have a couple other things that we're gonna do. We're gonna probably search for some more stuff too. So John, what's up, man?
What's up? How's it going, Dennis?
Good, brother. So I wanted to start today. So what did you want to bring up first, and then we'll go for we'll start looking at that Moore County deal.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. So I actually took some notes for the audience. I kind of put together a list of like our criteria as land investors, what we look for in deals, right? So
yeah,
most people in LIA, and really just most land investors as a whole, they're looking for mid-market deals, right? So properties that are like between $25,000 up to $250,000. And really the three most basic criteria you're looking for there is road access, topography, and if it's in a flood zone or wetland. Those are the three most basic. Like if it doesn't check all three of those boxes, or at least 2 out of the 3, then it's a no-go. Now, obviously, those 3 boxes apply to subdivide candidates as well, but subdivide candidates also have some more criteria, obviously, because they're bigger deals, right? So, looking at subdivide deals, obviously, road frontage is the biggest factor. We're looking for properties that have at least 1,000 square feet or 1,000 feet of road frontage, preferably 2,000 up to 3,000, whatever the case might be. But also, too, I've noticed like people will send in deals that have a lot of road frontage. The property is just like a skinny rectangle.
Or when it goes down like a major slope, or go up like a major slope. It's like, what are you going to do with that?
Exactly. So it's not really just all about road frontage. Obviously, that's one of the bigger aspects about it. But yeah, more goes into it than that. But also, too, we're looking for properties that preferably have road access on 2 out of the 4 sides, right? Because then it opens up a can of worms where we can do a minor subdivide versus having to do a major subdivide. And obviously, there's more costs and more time involved with major subdivides. So when we're looking on market, that's a big factor as well. Obviously, structures on the property, if there's windmills on the property, if there's power line easements. Now that kind of applies for mid-market as well, but especially for subdivide candidates. If you have 3,000 feet of road frontage, but there's a power line going right through that road frontage, or right along it, then it's a dead deal. We've actually seen that before. I think last month you and I were looking at a deal where that was the case, unfortunately. They checked off all the other boxes, but they had a power line easement, so that kind of killed the deal for us.
Yeah. It depends on the power line easement too. There's certain ones that are like, it's doable, it's fine. If it's like crossing the back half of the property, right, or just the back end of the property, not a big deal. But if it's like cutting through the center, like the center of the property, and like every single lot's going to be affected, then that's not going to be good. If it just takes out one lot, okay, cool. Just subdivide that out. Maybe end up keeping one lot that you have to own, which sucks, right? But you sell everything else. Who cares? It just depends on like how it traverses that property. It really is what it comes down to, man.
Yeah, it's like if the numbers make sense, regardless of a bad parcel that you parcel off from the rest of the property, then it is what it is. You can still make a deal out of it. But obviously another factor is zoning regulations, right? So we're looking at statewide regulations. Every single state has their own different rules and bylaws. And then we're also looking countywide too, right? So, you could have two counties right next to each other, but they have different regulations. It is what it is. Have you ever seen regulations based on township by any chance, Dennis?
Not so some cities do have their own regulations, but that's when you're more getting into like a more like developed area, right? More highly developed areas, yeah, they're going to have their own regulations and things like that because they have like use plans and things like that for each property. So they're going to have very specific details they want to see.
Right.
So
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've definitely seen that though.
Yeah, another thing with comparing mid-market versus subdivide candidates is the biggest thing is you're looking for the best exit strategy, right? But also, you're looking for as many exit strategies as possible. So you can either like wholesale or double close a property. That's an exit strategy. You can subdivide. You can, buy and hold, buy and flip, whatever the case might be. If you're forced to just do a major subdivide, you better make sure your numbers are correct because you're getting other people's money involved. That money has interest tied to it every single month. So, that's why we're looking for properties that have a lot of road frontage and preferably on two or more sides, because then you could just do a minor subdivide, get a simple survey done. You could just parcel off those parcels and sell them within a month or two. So it's super simple when you're doing a minor subdivide versus a major subdivide.
Yeah, it's super important to say, like to reiterate too, is like the velocity, right? How fast we can move stuff. Right. Because you got to think like we're purchasing a property, we're doing our thing, then we have to go and subdivide it and resell it. Well, if the child comps, the basically the smaller comps we go and subdivide out, if they are not moving fast, well, we're kind of screwed, right? We need it to move within a year because debt gets more expensive the longer we have it, right? I mean, yeah, we get fixed rate debt, things like that, but still it gets more expensive over time, right? So the goal is to move these child lots 6 months or less, right? At least the bulk of them. If we get, 60% of them sold, pay off our lender, then the rest we could sit on, and that's our profit later on. It's not the end of the world. So
another factor is you could find a property that checks all the boxes. It's got a ton of road frontage. The regulations look good, the whole 9 yards. But then let's say if it's 100 acres and you're going to chop it up into 10 acre parcels and there's no demand for 10 acre parcels in that area, well, then that's also basically a dead deal too, because who's going to buy those parcels? You're going to get a subdivide done just for nobody to even have interest in buying the parcels. So I think that's actually one of the more important aspects of subdivides too, is you got to look at the demand for the parcels that you're going to chop it up into. So
yes, that is the biggest driver, because if you're going to cut something up, what's the point if nobody's going to buy it?
Exactly.
Right. Some areas like Wisconsin, areas like that, 40 acres is like the smallest they'll resale. So if you're cutting up properties into 10-acre lots, people don't want that. Same thing in like Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, a lot of Colorado, a lot of these areas, they want 40 plus acres because if not, it just doesn't make sense. So, I mean, we're not looking to do subdivides over there, but that's just a case in point, you got to know what the area is asking for. So,
and it ties back into knowing your market.
At your demand.
Yeah, because like if you know your market, you know that there's demand for a certain parcel size, and you'll be fine. But if you're just kind of going into it, looking at numbers based on the bigger parcel that you're going to subdivide, you better know what those numbers are looking like for the smaller parcels for sure.
Yep, exactly. So, yeah, I agree completely. You need to know kind of like a little bit of everything that's going on in that market if you're going to be able to subdivide it. So awesome. Yeah, I'm just looking at some of the ones we were looking at.
Yeah, I can actually send you the parcel number for that. What was it, Johnston County?
Johnston. So you want to do? I have both of them up here. I have Johnston County right now. It's how many acres? It's 89.5 acres, right?
Sounds right.
With an 8.5 acre on the side. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll pull this one up. So we'll just look at this one real quick, and then I have the other one pulled up too, the Moore County one. We'll talk about these two properties and kind of what we're thinking about them. Let's see. Let's go at the stage. Cool. Let's over to the side so we can see everything. All right, cool. So here's the parcel right here. We got this guy right here. This is what it looks like. So as you can see, let's turn off some of these layers. Sometimes these layers are nice, but we do have like flood zone in this set, like this whole section. So this is all kind of like dead land in my eyes. That doesn't mean it's a dead deal. It just means that you don't want to like subdivide this and have this as your front facing property, or have a property this whole thing is contained against, right? So let's turn off FEMA. Let's turn off surface water, and let's turn off wetlands. Okay, cool. Now we can kind of see, here's the property lines. Now, quick look at this. Like, it has road frontage, doesn't have a lot of road frontage, right? But it does have some. So if I were to do this one, it'd be this parcel together. I would come in here and I would say, let's just create a quick map. Oh, mess that up. Okay, so here's the map. So I would say, merge and make that save. Okay, cool. So let's say this is the parcel in total. So what I would do is I would come in here and I would do a road, primary road that comes in probably something like this. And that's that. So right here we have, this is $2,750 of cost in just the road, and it's about $8 a linear, depending. So it's about 22,000 road plus clearing. So you're probably somewhere around like 40 grand in clearing and road. Now that gets you into this point. So then being able to start subdividing this one, right? So like, let's say we were to subdivide this one, your boundaries would probably go this. Let's say we do 378. Just for rough, we'll just do that. Go a little bit bigger. 9.52. There you go. Okay. So you kind of get what I'm saying, right? We're going to go here, chop this up along this way. So let's say in theory, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6, 7, 8, maybe 8 parcels out of this. Okay. So, and they're going to be these, because it's an odd shape in the back and you have this water, you can't really give it you'd want to give this like a 10.5 inch. So this like back acreage doesn't really matter what it happens. So let's say it's like a 10 acre comp. So now like what I would do, let's look at this. Here's Will Road. I want to copy like a local address. Cancel. Let's go here. Let's go to Redfin. And let's shoot this over here. John, do you remember what the ask for this one was?
I do not. I'm going to have to pull that up.
Was this on Redfin, or where was this?
I saw it on Zillow and on Landwatch. I'm pulling it up right now.
I don't see it on Redfin right here.
They got it listed on Landwatch at 980.
980. Okay. Oh, here you go. So here's a comp right here, like right down the street. Here's somebody that did a minor subdivide right down the street. Lot 1, yep. Lot 2, Lot 3. These are actually smaller parcels. So this is also a good indicator too. They got approved to do minor a subdivision this small. Okay.
Right.
So that's pretty good to see. They're able to do this that small. So that's like, okay, good indicator. How long was this on the market? Let's see, 35 days. Okay. That's good news. So there's definitely some activity. Let's see what looks like somebody's doing the same thing down the road. Bigger parcels, 99 days, 6 acres. So, yeah, here's another one. 99 days. About 6 acres. Okay. So Johnson County, this might be interesting too, because I think North Carolina, I think you're allowed to do up to or down to 5 acres on the plat exemption. So that's a pretty interesting thing to look at too. So if that's the case, then we probably get a few more lots out of there, which might drive our values up. But these are all on market, currently listed. in this immediate area too, which is also good to see. So now you see child comps, you're like, okay, this might actually be a good one. Now let's go sold. So for anybody that knows, you have your parent, which is the main big parcel, and then your child comp are the little ones that you chop off and sell. It's just layman's terms for just trying to figure out what the hell we're talking about. So last sold for $1. Somebody got a deal. So let's go here. Let's go land. Let's just look at anything above 4 acres, and let's cap it at 20. So the goal here is to see. So this was how many? 99 acres, something like that, John? 98 something?
Yeah, it's 98.95. Yeah, 99.
Okay. Okay, 98.95. So, and it's sold for, or they're asking 10K an acre essentially, right? They're asking 980. They're asking
Pretty
10K
much,
an
yeah.
acre. Okay, good, easy math.
Mm-hmm.
So now the goal here is like, okay, well, what lots sold recently, and what do they sell for? Okay, so you got this 20-acre lot that just sold for 28K an acre. Holy hell! Wonder why this one sold for so much.
Yeah. Also, too, it looks like this property has been on the market for half a year, 181 days. So maybe they'll take a lower offer.
Yeah, and it's also like another question too is why hasn't another company come in and done this? You know?
Yeah.
Pretty nice parcel. 10K an acre. Okay. So the goal here is we're like, let's see what stuff is selling for in this area, right? So we got this one just sold 6 acres, sold for 27K an acre, not in a subdivision. And yeah, this is one of the ones that the guy just recently did. So this sold freaking fast as hell too. This is what you like to see, right? Velocity of money. How fast is your stuff moving? Okay, so that's awesome when you see that. Because you see, like, obviously there's demand, right? There's definitely people that want to buy this land.
Right.
Especially if you could offer seller finance. It's even better. Cool.
Yeah, you and I were talking about seller finance versus getting a loan from a lender too. Like a lot of these lenders could kill the deal as well because they might be asking too much interest or want too much money, and really seller financing is the way to go with these. Even if it's just for the down payment they use a lender for, that's the best way to go about it. So.
Yeah. So the thing is, trying to bring this to a bank and get lending is never going to happen, right? So you have to rely on private money, private equity, things like that. Now, I raise a lot of capital, do it all the time. It's how I fund all my deals. Now, the problem is most of my lenders, they don't want to put $1 million into one investment, right?
Right.
They'd rather put money into a couple different investments. This may diversify a little bit. And then they have some control over their money. Now, I've talked to a few of them, and they're like, they'd rather take like $1 million and put it into a deal that's going to earn them 8 or 12% consistently without worrying about it for 10 to 15 years, rather than and then use like 300K to bounce in and out of deals, right? So they burn that capital a lot, and then their big source of capital just stays kind of like secure. So that's what a lot of my lenders do. And that's, getting them to come around and say, hey, look, let's do this. They're like, no, I like the 200K deals. Right. So then the thought is like, okay, let's put 4 or 5 of them together and buy one of these bigger deals. Well, who gets first position, second, third, fourth, and fifth, right? Not many guys played well together unless you do like a JV agreement, like put everybody together, we form an LLC, we go buy this property, and then they become a partner on the LLC and everything like that. Well, at that point, then they're going to want equity, different things like that too. So that could also kill the deal. So getting seller finance is sometimes crucial on these deals. Now, we're not asking for long, crazy turns. We're just asking for like a year, basically, to make things work out. That's the hardest part, is like getting a seller to agree to that. but it's not impossible. I've done it many times before. It's just a matter of getting the right seller, getting in front of them, and all that stuff too. So,
right. See, and that's the thing with on market subdivide deals is like it's not just making sure the property itself fits your criteria, but it's also the people you're working with and JVing with. Like there's just so many ways that a deal could fall through, especially something that's on market. Obviously off market is a whole different story, but if it's on market, like you said, most people will scoop this property up if it's a good deal rather quick. I mean, obviously there's diamonds in the rough sometimes, but yeah, I mean, a lot of these deals slip through the cracks too, just because there's so many of them that not all of them are seen.
Yep, and a lot of people are, they're like hesitant to take on something that they don't trust, right? Like especially like seller finance or things like that. In the beginning, they might not like it, they might not trust it, right? But then after a little while, they might be like, hey, you know what? That's the only offer I'm getting. I think I'm going to have to take it, right? So something that's been on there for a little while might end up being something that they'll eventually accept.
Right. And that's why if you offer on a property and they say no, that's a no right now, right? Like you could always follow up a month, 2 months, 3 months later, and it might be a yes. So I think being persistent with these deals on market, even if they say no at first, it could pay dividends.
I agree. All right, cool. I mean, this one does look like it's a pretty decent deal, to be honest with you. I guess we'd have to look at the Johnson County's rules as far as everything goes, because sometimes the rules don't allow you to subdivide on a private road. So that's another thing we should look into. And then honestly, I think it's just a matter of like, hey, let's see if the seller's down for seller finance. So I like this. I like this one. But we just got to make it work with this road, and then see if we could make something happen. Looks like a pretty good deal though. So let's put a bookmark in this one. We'll call that one. Now this is the other one that we talked about, right? This is Moore County.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, so let's look at this one real quick. So we got this parcel right here, base map, here, satellite. You can see, decent clean parcel, good road frontage, all that stuff. Everything looks like it points to that it would be a deal. Possibly a road down the center, subdivide left and right. It's only 60 acres, so you can't go too crazy. But let's see what we got as far as comps. So when we're looking at this, we're going to look at the child comps. Let's see what Felicia's got. Felicia, 24, Eagle Spring. Okay, copy her. Okay. So there were. Can you look up, John, how much they were they were asking for this one?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to look at the child comp. So in this area, we're going to look for the same thing. We're going to look at the for sales, see kind of what's going on in here. I want to look at. Let's look at time, lot size. Let's go 4 to 20s.
It's at 512.
512. Okay, so they're asking like 9,500 an acre.
Yep.
So right here, they're asking 9,500 an acre for a 60-acre parcel. You have an 11-acre parcel right there that's also asking the same price it's been on the market. So that's not a good indicator, right? That tells me that the comps don't support the pricing. This one's at 8K an acre in West Philadelphia, born and raised. Let's go 4 to 10. Let's do 4 to 20s again. Let's see what's sold recently around here. All right, so this is like the immediate area. Bowers Road. This is like right here. I think the property's on the left side of that. So it's 5-acre lot, just sold for 10.6, right?
Yeah.
And it's got septic and permit and all that stuff. So it's already got some improvements ready to go. So that's not good. What we need to see here to make this like a deal is like stuff for selling for like 22K an acre. And, like right now I'm only seeing the exact same price. So like that might be a reason why it's listed and it's not moving, right? They actually would probably do themselves a favor if they came in here and just cut a line down this and a line down that and then put it on the market for 10K an acre, they probably actually sell this thing, you know?
Right.
Now I don't see it selling for more than that. So like the thing is when you go too far out, like some people, that's the other thing is like they'll pull comps. They're like, oh yeah, there's the property here, but they'll pull comps like across the county over here. And it's like, okay, well, this one sold for this. Nah, that's actually a terrible example because that sold for way less than it should have. But it does kind of lead to my point, right? There's not a lot of action, like anything. Even if I go way out closer to Pinehurst, let's see what we got over here. Even out here, closer to the major city, this sold for 16K an acre. And that's probably 30 minutes closer to a major city. Not major, I mean, that's not even a big city, but see, it's a lot closer to Fayetteville than we are. So in my eyes, this one doesn't look like it's a wonderful deal. I think it's probably too much they're asking. We definitely would have to be lower. Like we need to buy this for half of what they're asking just to make it work. And then even at that point, what's our return, right? So we're going to come in here and let's say we're buying it for 500. We're going to basically buy it for 250, right? And if we have to put a road into it, we're going to spend another 30K. Put a road, closing costs, all that jazz. You got a lender, so let's throw a lender in there. So let's times at 1.12. We're all in for 313, and then survey costs is another 15,000 for a smaller lot. So 328. Now we go to exit. We got to pay a realtor, so we're at 328. 328. Remember that. And then we'll go. We got 59 acres times 9,500. It's 560. And then we're times, we're going to take out realtor fees. So times 0.94. That cuts out the realtor. And then we got 328.
Yep.
So it's 198, right? That's if it sells. I mean, that's a really good spread, but the likelihood of you getting a reduction 50% on an on-market, I doubt that. That's going to happen. Yeah. I mean, hell, it could. And if it does, amazing. It's worth a shot, right? Because the numbers do play out. But in the actuality, I mean, if you want, actually, maybe we'll just call them and I'll just say, hey, look, we put a 250K cash offer today. What would you say about that? And if they're like, F you, great.
I say we do it. It's worth a shot.
Yeah, I'll give them a call right now. I don't care. Let's see what they say. Because maybe they say we'll consider it. I mean, if they say, if they say no, okay, cool. Well, what makes sense then? Where does it make sense?
Yeah, because right now it doesn't, right?
Yeah. It doesn't make sense unless we're buying it for 250.
Also, too, I mean, I just don't think there's a whole lot of demand for 10-acre parcels in this area. Like you said, it is kind of like in the boondocks. So
yeah, it's not. The demand isn't crazy, but you could force demand if you have a good enough property. Is this it right here? 59 acres. Yeah. All right, 59 acres right here. Hell yeah. Just sent out an offer on a 200 and something acre property. Let's see how it goes.
How much?
Big subdivide. I don't even know. So it's probably like close to $1 million on it. So we'll see. Probably buy for, I think it's a buy for like 8 something total. Total all in is about $1 million. Exit, it's like one. What is it, like 240 acres? How many acres is that? 240. 240 times. I don't know. Times 11,000. Yeah, it's if it goes for what we think it could go for, it's anywhere between 8K an acre to 11K an acre. Varies in that area.
Yeah.
High end, you're talking about buy for like about $1 million, sell for about 2.6. So that's the spreads we like to see.
No kidding. That pencils, sure.
That pencils all day long. So this one actually hasn't been listed long.
Right.
9 days. So that's another thing too. They're probably not going to say yes if they just listed it. But hell, I don't care, right? You never know. Wait, what did that say? Contact Caroline. I don't think that's his direct line though. See if he answers. Hello?
Hello.
Hey, Matthew. It's my name's Dennis. Are you the listing agent for 59 acres in Eagle Springs?
Yeah.
Awesome.
2427?
2427. Is that the two lots next to each other?
Yes.
Yes. Yep. Awesome. Just curious. I know it looks like you guys just listed this, right?
I don't know. It's actually been, it just got relisted. It was, we renewed the listing. It's been on the market for a little while.
Oh, actually, I see it now. Okay. Okay. I do. So we're looking for some lots that we could possibly subdivide, and this one kind of came across our desk. We are interested in it, but definitely not at this price. So I don't know if what the seller is kind of looking for, but we'd be interested in making an offer.
Sure. I mean, like I said, I'll presume with anything you give me.
Okay. In this area, we're seeing most stuff like trading like on the bigger scale. Everything's trading for closer to like 4K an acre. So we're probably going to be somewhere near that ballpark, about 4K an acre. Now, if this were like 10 acre or 5 acre lots, yeah, it's trading for about 9K. But yeah, so let me see. Let me do the math on that. What would be at?
So where are you out of?
I live in New Jersey, but we're all over the country.
Okay.
Yeah, we do a lot of work in.
I'm not sure what comps you're using because that's all I do is land, and nothing in Moore County sold anywhere close to 4,000 an acre.
Yeah.
Road frontage, but I mean, you do what you want to do. I'll present it with however you want, but I don't think he's going to come off $3,000 an acre.
No, that's what I figured. But hey, it's worth a shot. I mean,
I'll present it to him, but like I said, he's the only reason he's getting rid of it is he's a farmer, and it sticks out a little farther from his farm. That it's a little far out there for logistics of getting equipment and stuff to it. So he pretty much said, "Hey, if you can sell it for this, I'll sell it. If not, I'll just keep farming it." But,
yeah.
And it's I don't know if you see there's a cell tower coming, so they're going to build a cell tower out there. So he's excluding 3 acres for that cell tower.
Yeah, that's not a big deal. I did see that. Now I do see this one. It just sold September 20th. 0 Alton Road in Eagle Springs. It's a 43 acre lot, just sold for $185. So it's $4,300 an acre. So that's what
that was off market.
Let me see. No, it's MLS. It was listed March 13th for $295, and it sold September 20th for $185.
Was the landowner Baldwin?
Was the land what?
Was the selling the landowner who sold it last name Baldwin? I think that property was landlocked.
Was it? It looks like it's got. Yeah. It looks like it's got. Service land is not. Excellent hunting. Small creek runs the backside. It looks like it was sold by Teresa Coleman. It looks like it has road frontage. I mean, the first picture is the property on the road. So it looks like there's like maybe a culvert.
Yep, it is. That's
yeah.
Yeah, it's also so there's if you zoom out a little bit, you'll see that on that road there's I can't remember how many houses. There's multiple chicken houses just right north of it.
Okay.
That probably some effect, but I remember that piece. I talked to that lady because it was actually a family group that had to sell it.
Sure.
But it's also, anyway, like I say, that was a cut over piece of timberland.
Okay. That could definitely take the value out for sure. They didn't show the pictures of the cut over timber.
Correct. The timber was cut and it was not a real nice tract where, you know, this one, not that this is some great piece of property necessarily, but it's, at least it's cleared farmland, so it's income producing.
Okay. Oh, so is it producing crops now? Because that obviously raises the value.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's tillable farmland right now.
Okay. Yeah. So, all right. That does raise the value. I mean, not for what our purpose is, but it does raise the value overall. I mean, because basically what we do is, my goal is we buy the property, especially if it's listed with an agent. We buy the property, we go in, we subdivide it, we do our thing, and then we relist it with you in subdivided tracts, right? You know land, right? Land sells more the smaller it is, right? More per acre.
100%.
So that's why I actually saw this listing. I was surprised the seller didn't just do that, spend the money on the survey and do it. But I guess his interests lie elsewhere, right?
They are, and I can go. I've got a group coming in. I'm supposed to meet here. If you want to give me a call, or I can try to give you a call back later this afternoon, we can kind of discuss it further.
Yeah, that's fine. Just give me a ring back. But yeah, let me know too. I mean, we'd be down cash offer. We could probably offer about $4,000 an acre. You know, obviously I know I'll balk at that, but doesn't hurt to see. But yeah, give me a call back and we can discuss some more.
All right, sounds good.
Cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks, Matt. You have a good one. Bye. My favorite thing to do is when they say nothing has sold for that, and then 2 seconds later I pull a comp that just sold like a week ago for that number. Right. That's like my favorite thing to do. They're like, nothing in Moore County sold for $4,000 an acre. Huh.
Is there a reason why you didn't offer seller financing? I know he's looking for a certain amount, but
just because this one's small enough, like under $500K, I could just buy that cash, right?
Right.
That's the only reason why. A lot of people, like, especially if I'm coming down that much, they're not going to say yes to seller finance and that.
Coming down.
What I'm doing is basically planting a seed, right? If they say no at $4,000, and then I say, okay, look, I can come up to $5,000 an acre if we do this.
Right.
Right. So seller finance is my second kind of foray into
too much.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you give them too much information over the phone, like in the first call, they're going to just be like, dude, what the hell's wrong with you? You know? But if it's a deal that like you need to get on seller finance, then obviously don't present anything but seller finance.
Right.
Yeah,
so if it's worth like $3 million, let's say, coming up with cash for that could be, even with lenders, kind of difficult. So it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, because a bank, like I said, banks do not lend on this stuff. They don't look at that value like how it will be later. They look at, well, what's it valued at now, right? There's nothing they could like put money on. So that's why you can't get like fixed rate debt on stuff, institutional debt. You'd have to go private, and having a whale come in here for like $1 million, $2 million. It's not that it's impossible. It's just that it's tough, you know, unless you've been working with somebody for a while and they understand these deals really well, then it makes sense. But yeah, at the end of the day, you got to just like go for the low hanging fruit sometimes with these, like, you know, 250s, 500s, things like that.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, look, this isn't a deal, but could we make it a deal? Possibly. Right. It's not a terrible property. It's just that at the price that they're asking, it's not the right thing. Right. But at the end, if he says yes, cool, or says F you, then, oh, well, we got our number. We know.
Right.
You know,
and also too, like, it doesn't hurt to just throw a number out there to the realtor. Just say, hey, we can offer this much cash. We'll close quick. And Oftentimes if the realtor is not a good realtor, they'll show the cards of the seller, which is kind of ironic. So the point of having a realtor is like they're working for you and they're not supposed to show your cards. So that's always fun when that happens.
The thing with that too is like this guy, if he plays his cards right, it's like, okay, cool. Well, I get both things. I get the one property, I get to sell this thing for $250. Yeah, I'm not getting my commission that I wanted, but then I get to resell it
on the
for
back
$5.
end.
So I'm actually making like as if I sold $750K worth of stuff.
Yeah, so we're doing these realtors a favor then. They're getting twice the work with less effort.
Right, exactly. Twice the work, less effort. They're getting a double-sided transaction, especially if you're calling them directly. So they're getting, instead of 3%, they're getting 6% or whatever their number is. Right. And then they get it again when we go to resell. So we end up making more. They end up making more money on it overall. So it's like a no-brainer for them to present the offer. And if the seller accepts, the seller accepts, It's just, in my eyes, if I were that seller, I would have subdivided it. I mean, spend the $15,000, get the appraisal done, and get the whatchamacallit done and call it a day. That's it. Super easy. So, yeah.
I see that all the time too, where like they could easily just get a survey done and increase the value 2x, but they just choose not to, which.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all too common. Honestly, it's all too common.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still laughing at this guy. I haven't seen anything sell for that. I'm like, are you sure? This one literally just sold right here. Yeah. Trying to find another one. Cool. All right. So then the other one, the Johnson County, we'll look at that one too. But in a nutshell, that's pretty much it, right, John?
Pretty much, yeah. Just get realtors on the phone, make offers, see how the realtor reacts, and just make sure it's a good deal. And also, like I said earlier on this call, make sure that the regulations are suiting what you're looking for in the county. Obviously, you've got to look at statewide regulations too, but those county regulations are just as important. So you have to be aware of those.
Yeah, exactly. Like some counties have different rules. So you got to you just got to kind of check out all that stuff and see what the hell's going on in each county. And that for the most part, like bigger, more rural counties, you don't have to really worry about it. It's like when you're getting into if you're in Wake County, North Carolina, and you're coming in and doing that, yeah, it's going to be really tough. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you guys see any of these deals on market, just see what happens. Give them a call. Try to hash them down. Try to see if they'll take a lower offer. If they take a $250 cash offer and you could subdivide it, do it all day. Doesn't hurt. It's free marketing at this point. I actually know people that run their entire business exactly like this. So all they do all day is just hunt subdivides on market. They don't do anything else. Zero marketing costs. It's all just labor, basically. So
there's no marketing costs. There's no cost for having Pat Live or Answer Fours. Obviously, those eat up a lot of money too. So yeah, those people are doing it right.
Yeah, I mean, if you train a good acquisitions person to sit there and hunt for deals, actually, a 2-person team is ideal. You have your one that's a hunter, that all they do is they know how to go and identify properties, and that's what they do. And then the second one is actually like the acquisitions person. They could sit there all day long and just call these leads, have these conversations. They'll probably spend an hour a day on the phone, and the rest of it's like underwriting, looking at deals and all that stuff. But, that's a 2-person team, and you're probably talking about a $2 million a year business. Easy. If you're just consistently doing just that. Because these properties come up all the time, I mean, there's more stuff to it. You have to, though, raise capital. You have to partner with people, whatever. But if a deal comes like this, like if somebody were to bring a deal like this to our table, John, and just said, hey, I have everything. I have the child comps are selling for $10K. I have it locked up for 4,500 acres. Sellers down to do seller finance. Dude, we'll fund that deal all day long. We'll run the ringer and we'll do everything. It's just that when people bring deals and it's like, hey, look at this. And it's not a deal. And then it's just a time waster, right?
Right.
It's really tough. So,
yeah, that's why too, when I first started sending you leads, I was just like, I don't want to waste his time. I know, his time is valuable. So was making sure that all the boxes were checked off before I was sending over leads, and sure enough, you liked a few of them, so ended up working out.
And even still, some of the ones you sent, we looked at together and we're like, yeah, this isn't a deal because of the X, Y, and Z, right? And there's certain little things that we come up. That's always going to happen because the person like who first identifies it tries to make everything a deal, and then you have an outsider perspective where it's like, why isn't this a deal, right? I always kind of like go for the no. Why? What makes this not a deal? And work backwards from there, right? And then instead of trying to fit everything into a box, basically. So, yeah.
Looks like we got a question in the chat for you, Dennis.
What do you got? How would that work to wholesale that deal? So like if you wanted to wholesale a deal to me, you totally could, but something like that, I mean, I'm fine with JVs. But let's say you wanted to wholesale. If it was a good deal, we'd work out an assignment fee. I can't give you like a blanket, like 20 grand. I don't know what it would be. It depends on the deal. And then like this deal, let's say you lock this deal up that is 59 acres we just talked about. If you lock something like that up for us at 250 cash, we'd probably do an assignment on that for like 25, 30 grand. Easy. Right? Because we know there's tons of equity on the back end. If we could walk away, we wouldn't be doubling our money, but we'd be probably walking away with like 120K, 130K after everything on one deal. So you could walk away clean and clear 30K, and then we would have the risk of maybe making 130K, 120K, something like that. So yeah, I'd be down for that. Cool. Awesome, guys. All right. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one. Later.